No sign of the Broncos team appearing on the field as yet, but we do have Cronulla out there, and there's little Paul Bishop, the halfback, and that's one of the places where they're going to miss Barry Russell, obviously, David.
I definitely will. Barry Russell is a brilliant attacking player. There's Wally Lewis leading the Brisbane side out on the field. They know the job's in front of them tonight. They come up against Cronulla, who they defeated convincingly earlier in the season. But Brisbane will need to be on their best game, and most importantly, after their performance against North Sydney last week, that was very flashy. They looked brilliant in patches, but other times they made quite a few errors. And I'm sure Wayne Bennett would have emphasised no errors early. Tony Curry, a very determined look on his face, as has the rest of the Broncos side. There's Terry Madison with the headgear. Brisbane will be out to start well in this match, as will Cronulla, of course. Cronulla are known for their safety-first tactics, and the referee for tonight's game, Mr. Michael Stone.
David, last time the Broncos did play Cronulla, that was a Saturday game at Lang Park, and they really turned it on that day, didn't they?
They did, Bill, but of course Michael Speechley wasn't out there that day, and nor was Andrew Eddinghausen, who scored 5 tries last week. There's Gavin Miller, what a key player he'll be for the Cronulla Sharks. He's the ball distributor. He's the man that the Cronulla side looks to for good ball distribution, to set up a few gaps for his runners. And certainly that man there too, Mark McGaw, who David Porter mentioned is playing his 100th game tonight for the Cronulla Sharks. He'll also be a very important member of the Cronulla side.
OK, it's going to be the Brisbane Broncos to kick off. Tony Durkin down on the touchline. Durko, we did have quite a breeze here earlier today. What's it like now?
Very still, in fact, inside the stadium, Bill. Very windy outside, as you said when we arrived early this afternoon, but that wind died down and very little breeze in here to speak of tonight. Magnificent conditions in Sydney. This stadium, Parramatta Stadium, is an absolute picture. What a credit for the curator, and excellent conditions out there in the centre.
So Lewis will kick it off. It'll carry back into the in-goal area, but Cronulla going to run it out. And the first tackle of the match is going to be affected by Gary French coming in over the top. Of the men they put down, of course, was Dan Staines. He's had a big year, Staines, and they'll be looking for a big performance from him tonight.
Yes, Dan Staines, of course, was picked to in the Australian side, mate. His debut over in New Zealand, playing a test match, but played particularly well in the midweek games.
Right, taking it up once again is Staines. He'll be put down about 20 metres short of the halfway mark. Crowd starting to boo a little bit out here. I'm not quite sure what that's all about. David, Tony Durkin.
Jonathan Docking was hit pretty high, I think, by Gene Miles, and Jonathan Docking very, very groggy in back play. I think that's what the boo from the crowd was for.
Kick downfield by Miller. Running across is Tony Curry. Curry will take it and run it out up to the quarter line. Gets the pass outside. Hancock can't handle it. And it's into touch. No, it's not. It's Cronulla ball, and eventually Dan Staines with it about 20 metres out from the Broncos line.
Tony Curry with a habit there of trying to set up his wingers, and that time came unstuck. Brisbane inside the 5 metres. Perfect start for the Cronulla Sharks, and Nick Stone coming right across in front of the post. Wally Lewis stands his ground. It won't do any good though, Wally. A touch judge is on to make a report, and certainly will be on the instrument, I would think, on Jonathan Docking. And as Tony Durkin said, the culprit, Gene Miles. The penalty has been given against Brisbane for inside the 5 metres. Report now for the touch judge, and there you can see him indicating that the tackle on Jonathan Docking was a high one. Wally Lewis
looking rather incredulous in the background there. Fair go, what's going on? I can tell you what's going on. It's a shot for goal, and Wilson will be the man to have it. There's Miles moving back into the in-goal area.
Well, all brought about by a mistake from Tony Curry. He retrieved the kick downfield and then tried to set up Michael Hancock on the far wing. The pass was a poor one. Hancock couldn't handle it, and immediately Brisbane inside the 5 metres. A dream start for the Sharks.
101 points for Alan Wilson so far this season. And you can write down another 2 to that tally. He hasn't done it as yet, but if he doesn't, won't be much point in putting Bounce here instead of Coleman.
He's out there for his kicking, and this one should not cause any problems at all.
He's back onto his mark right now is Alan Wilson. Only a couple of minutes of play gone here in this elimination match tonight. There's the kick, straight through the centre. So we see Cronulla open up the scoring here. They lead by 2 points to 0. So there's the man who kicked it, Alan Wilson, going back to his heart of the
Doggy. If there is a break, let us know if it's coming up, buddy.
Let us know coming up to it. So it's Cronulla in possession, just down on their own quarter. And plenty of Broncos defence coming up there to take care of Guy Pick. And there's Wayne Bennett, the Broncos coach, taking it all in the opening part of this match. That's Lee. Away from the play the ball. That's Jonathan Docking up there as the dummy half. He's there again on this occasion. They're about 20 metres short of the halfway mark, Cronulla. They have a lead of 2 points to 0. Now, plenty of chasers racing downfield as the kick comes underneath it. Now, Hancock is back there. It bounces over his head. He'll have plenty of time because all of those Cronulla players are offside until he picks it up, which he does now, straight ahead. Gee, they took off on that occasion when the kick was coming up.
They certainly did, Bill. They play a very good kick and chase game there. And interestingly, I think each time Cronulla kick downfield, there has been one player behind the kicker. On that occasion was Gavin Miller, and he was charging through. So Brisbane will be wanting to be very wary of that fact. Wally Lewis.
Lewis trying to find a gap, and it closes up. He's put to the ground, 20 metres short of the halfway mark. From the play, the ball to Tronk. Tronk outside to Jackson. Jackson bustling his way up. And he'll go to ground. That's about 9 metres short of halfway. Kinescu to Lewis. Lewis with a kick upfield. Running across field is Docking. Plenty of Broncos chasers on this occasion. Rolls back quite well, but taken back there by the Cronulla fullback. And put to the ground, and the tackle coming about this time by Brett Leman. So away from dummy half, they work it around the blind side, but quickly going to be wrapped up. Dummy half waiting up there this time is Porter. Porter still going up the centre. 10 metres short of the halfway mark. 4 minutes gone of the match so far. And Cronulla with a big fella Lee on his way through again, looking around for support. Which way is he going? Picken rather. Picken is put to the ground right on that quarter line. Good run there by the big front rower. Dummy half is Bishop. They work the blind side. Players to Byrne. Miller gets it outside to McGaw. McGaw gets it out further than to Staines. He's going to be wrapped up. From the play the ball. Brett Plowman down into it at the moment. Madison ends up with it with a penalty to Cronulla.
And a correct decision, Madison there. Just a bit unfortunate. It had come off the boot of a Bronco player. Mick Stone obviously deciding that a Bronco player had actually played at the ball. Let's have a look at it. There's the kick out. It was Gary French. And there, Terry Madison in an offside position. And Cronulla now with another great opportunity here for Alan Wilson to put another 2 points on. Cronulla can do nothing wrong. We've seen the dangers of Gavin Miller already. And there's Brett Plowman down injured. 2 trainers in attendance.
He's in a lot of pain, David. I saw him banging his hand on the ground a short time ago. There is the incident.
He grimaced immediately as he came in for that tackle, Brett Plowman. He's in big trouble, and it would have to be thought that he won't play any more part in the match. He's had trouble with that knee leading up to the match last week against North Sydney. He actually left the field against the Bears, and there he is now limping back into position. But of course, Broncos are well served by their reserve grade, and in particular there, the man, Joe Kilroy. He's got a bit of ice there on the thigh muscle, but Joey scored 2 tries in reserve grade, had a very good match, and Brett Plowman there just trying to exercise that knee and get things going for him.
Meanwhile, Alan Wilson is back onto his mark. Ready for kick number 2. He's settling up over the ball now. Taking plenty of time again. There's Wally Lewis. A little concerned at this stage because this will be a fair chance of going over and giving Cronulla a 4-point margin. So he's on his way in now. He's Wilson. He's put it through. Another 2 points on the board. Cronulla's lead is 4 points to 0. Cronulla in possession, just inside their quarter line. Here's Big Lee again taking it up. A couple of big fellas here, like they're welcoming back both Picken and Porter into this side today.
A mistake here coming from the big Danny Lee. And this could be one of the very few opportunities, if the only one, for Brisbane to really handle the ball. Tony Curry, of course, had it for a couple of moments before he fired it to Hancock. Now Brisbane with one of their only chances. And inside the 5 metres from the base of the scrum, a differential penalty. You cannot kick for goal. Wally Lewis, a quick tap.
And he sends it outside. That's Tony Curry. Curry's going to be put to the ground, though, right on the quarter line. The tackler coming up there was Speechley, the 5'8",
Tony Curry's in trouble. He's limping on, I think, his left leg there, and he was trying to stretch out before. Could well be a hamstring problem.
French getting it outside to Bacco, the big fellow up over the quarter line, but going to be well wrapped up and forced back a metre or so. He'll play it right on the quarter line now. Canescu to dummy half. There's a Cronulla player getting right in amongst it there as Dan Staines. French keeping it going. LeMan getting it away to Plowman. Plowman starting to stretch out a little bit. Going to be put to the ground in the tackle. Getting right in underneath is Eddinghausen, but back inside. This is Lewis. They keep it going with Madison, a big long one. Knocked down by Enapelli.
Offside. Cronulla up inside the 5 metres after Plowman had made that good run down the right-hand side. At no stage was Cronulla back to 5 metres. And Brisbane now with an opportunity, Terry Madison, to add their first points. They trail at the moment by 4 points to 0.
So we've had 4 penalties in the match so far, and they've all been for offside.
And both sides endeavouring to move up very quickly and nullify their opponent's attack. And that's a pretty obvious tactic. They're both very good attacking sides, and it's quite essential that you get up quickly and try and cut down on the amount of time.
Tony Durkin down on the touchline. Plowman stretched out in front of you on that occasion. Did he handle it all right, do you think?
Yeah, well, the report from the Broncos bench is that Plowman has aggravated that previous knee injury, Bill, but they're going to give you some time to warm up. I think he may have done just that.
Meanwhile, Greg Canescu is the player who is also receiving attention as Madison moves in for the shot at goal. Madison is successful, and so it's Cronulla leading by 4 points to 2. Alan Wilson restarts play for Cronulla. Gee, this is a big, big kick. Tony Curry takes it back in the in-goal area, decides to run it out, and eventually gets upfield by about 12 metres or so before he's put to the ground. Gene Miles comes up as dummy half to Brett LeMan. LeMan straight ahead, but very quickly the defensive Picken coming in over the top, and also Lee, the 2 big fellas in the forwards, puts him down. This time it's Tronk taking it up to just on the quarter line. At this stage, Cronulla leading by 4 to 2.
Yes, and 10 minutes of play gone, and I agree with you, David, that here's a turnover of possession. Tony Curry is struggling somewhat, and another pass popped up by Bacco. It's allowed Cronulla to come storming back, and that's Porter about 11 or 12 metres out from the Broncos goal line. Staines is the dummy half. It goes across. Bishop picked up nicely by Speech there. Clever trick behind the play. Goes Hancock struggling. He knocks it back and finally regathers just about 2 or 3 metres out from his own goal line. Wally Lewis takes play 11 metres out from his own goal line. And Cronulla have really put Brisbane under pressure in the opening 10 minutes of this match.
And Brisbane have put themselves under quite a bit of that pressure too, with a couple of poor handling errors inside their own quarter.
So Canescu goes into dummy half. It goes to Gene Miles. Received a caution in the opening few minutes of the match. Final tackle for the Broncos. Lewis will try and get them out of that danger zone. Rolling it over there towards Wilson's wing. He will link up with Jonathan Docking. No, he decides to go on his own and nearly crawls his way to the halfway line, despite the attention of Terry Madison. There's Docking. Straight away out of dummy half to take play beyond the halfway line. Porter got it away this time to the big prop forward, Danny Lee. Already we've seen Gavin Miller slip one of those magic passes to the other prop forward, Guy Picken. And this time the pass went astray from Miller to Picken. And Gary French dives on it for the Broncos. It's 4-2 in favour of Cronulla Sutherland. Remembering the loser of this match says goodbye to 1989. And the winner goes on to the Sydney Football Stadium next Saturday afternoon for the clash with Canberra. And what a clash that should be. And we'll bring you a live coverage from 2:45 on Brisbane 10 of that match. There's Canescu trying to work his way through away from that dummy half position. Gary French, long pass for Lewis. Lewis decides to run the football. Lewis into open space. Lewis got the pass away. Jackson to Hancock, and Hancock's in for a magnificent Broncos try. And the Broncos in the lead for the first time in the match.
Well, Wally Lewis is dangerous whenever he decides to run, and in a match like this, he's going to have to do it. Beautiful pass. Gary French out of the dummy half position. Lewis wide out there from the base of the ruck. No chance the big front rower, Danny Lee, getting to him. And the pass then to Peter Jackson. Over the top to Hancock. He juggles. Had to wait for a moment to get to the ball. Took it cleanly, though. Jonathan Docking too late on the scene. Let's have a look at it again. Good long pass, Gary French. Gave the opportunity for Lewis to get a quick ball and make sure the openings were there. Danny Lee was made to look pedestrian. Jackson pops it over the top. There it was to Michael Hancock. Had to pause for a moment to accept the pass. And a good Broncos try.
Okay, let's have a look at the head-on now. There's Lewis through the gap and away beautifully. He's got support on either side, but he decides to let it go out there to Jackson. Jackson then away to Hancock. Hancock had to jump up a little bit, but raced away to put it down. He cut back inside, but he saw Docking appear on the scene.
So Michael Hancock becomes the leading try scorer in the history of the Broncos in their 2 years. 10 tries in 88, 9 in 89. And ironically, he edges ahead of Wally Lewis, the man that made that magnificent break to set up the first Broncos try. They lead by 6 points to 4, and Terry Madison had the extras from 10 metres in from the far touchline. There's the kick. He's got it into the air nicely. It's hit the uprights and bounced over. The Broncos 8, Cronulla 4. Back at the Parramatta Stadium, the kickoff finds touch about 5 metres out from the Broncos goal line. And Terry Kennedy said, David Wright, in the beginning when he did his preview, that Wally Lewis tends to lift for the big games. And he had to do it tonight. Well, he's already made his stamp on this match.
Yeah, a long way to go, of course, and Brisbane will need to keep concentrating. And Michael Stone deciding that David Hatch has not stayed in the scrum. There's that action of suggesting the lock forward has not remained in the scrum until the ball came out. And Brisbane, who had loose head and feed after not taking the ball on the full from the kickoff.
Well, tomorrow night at the Hilton Hotel here in Sydney, the Rothmans Medal will be awarded, one of the most prestigious awards. Last year, Cronulla Phil won 2 with Gavin Miller in second place, and the 88 Rothmans Medal winner was Barry Russell. He's sidelined with Tony Durkin.
Obviously a good start initially by Cronulla, but that try certainly set them back on the heel.
Yeah, well, it just shows you what a couple of drop balls, does. It gave Brisbane a bit of possession, and they've just cut us up again.
Well, here goes Madison up towards the quarter line. He's taken in the tackle. We'll come back to Barry Russell in just a moment, because Brisbane are on the attack again. Just outside the quarter line through the hands of French and Lewis has finally taken in the tackle. Kinescu is the man at dummy half. It goes to Scott Tronk. Held the pass up this time for Chris Johns. Finally back for Kinescu, and he takes the tackle just outside the quarter. Final tackle, Jackson hoists it high in the air. The chaser is Madison, putting pressure on Docking, who took it well, and Docking immediately turns it back into a counter-attack with Wilson, and that gives us a chance to go back to the sideline with Tony Durkin.
Barry, this is do or die tonight for both sides. If the Sharks do get through and play on Saturday, will you be okay?
Well, I hope to be. We're just got to get into this game and win this first, and I'd probably make myself available.
Barry, I suppose tomorrow night's the furthest thing from your mind. Who do you think, though, may succeed you as the Rothmans gold medal winner?
Well, there's a number of good players, but one that sort of comes to mind would be Michael Neal from Balmain, and even Gavin here from Cronulla, I'd probably took my 2 tips.
OK, Barry, thanks very much for your time, and if they get through, I hope we see you on Saturday.
Thank you.
Barry Russell, the 1988 Rothmans medal winner, as Gene Miles runs out wide. Good pass for Johns. Backing up as Lewis. Lewis runs the football again, but Brett Plowman just fell on that injured knee as he tried to loom up in support, and I think they're going to have to replace Brett Plowman, because really that could have cost Brisbane a try.
Joey Kulo warming up already.
So Brisbane on the attack. Lewis burst into open space and looked for Plowman. He just grabbed at that injured knee and hit the ground. He's still out there at the moment as it goes out through Leman. The little kick by Jackson, putting pressure on Docking in the in goal. Good chase by Hancock, but good play by Jonathan Docking. Geez, a fine young footballer, this fellow.
Brilliant stuff by Docking, because Michael Hancock, very elusive himself, and he still got away from him. There's the change. and Tony Durkin on the sideline.
Well, Joey Kilroy, who had a great game in reserve grade, scored 2 tries, in fact, has replaced Big Brett Plowman, and certainly Plowman is in trouble with that knee injury.
Well, Joey Kilroy also scored a try in reserve grade against North Sydney last week, and when called into first grade, came up with another one. But there's the look of desperation on a young fellow that really has done so much good in the last few weeks. He scored 5 tries in 6 games as a winger. As that kick takes play inside the Brisbane Broncos territory, and the kick coming through by Speechley.
David, just having a look at Brett Plowman, he really didn't want to leave the field. It was just one of those tragedies that come along, and I suppose he was probably even more furious the fact that he couldn't back up Lewis.
Well, he was struggling, Billy, with that injured knee last week, and I saw him at Broncos training just 2 days ago, and he said that everything was A-OK, but obviously he must have carried it into the game.
Well, very important that in training you can often run in a straight line, but you could see there as Plowman tried to change direction, the leg just collapsed on him.
Well, Tony Curry he's not moving as freely as he should be either, sort of clutching at that injured hamstring as Brett Leman takes it up towards halfway. We've had about 18 minutes of play in this first half. The Broncos lead the Sharks by 8 points to 4. First touch for Kilroy. Takes it to the halfway line. We haven't seen much running from Big Sam Bacco. Now Lewis, Brisbane side intent to move the ball wide. Beautiful ball. Tronk kept it alive, and Leman was waiting for Johns to wrap around. The options are to the left, but the quick play the ball is required. It goes to Jackson. There's the kick in general play again. That's forced Docking to retreat once again, but the bounce won't favour him. That is a magnificent kick by Peter Jackson.
Control kick by Jackson. Didn't look for too much territory there. Angled it toward the touchline. Hit around about 10 metres in from touch and just got the roll on that he desired. Jonathan Docking could do nothing about it. Loose 7 feet to the Sharks.
So Bishop will feed the scrum. Alan Langer, will we see him injected into the game?
Bet your life we will.
So far, Gary French has done nothing wrong. Langer, of course, played 17 minutes in his comeback match against North Sydney at Lang Park last week. And Billy, they couldn't have got a better reaction from the crowd. How popular is he up north?
Oh, my word, he is. And while we're talking about crowds, David, this one has built up quite a bit. Not many too many around early in the night, but they've come together quite well.
Well, particularly considering it's a live telecast as well in Sydney tonight. It is a very, very good crowd.
And it is cold.
And there's Barry Russell. This Cronulla side have had a tremendous run with Rothman's medal. Terry Hughes won the first one on 68, and in subsequent years, Ken Madison, Steve Rogers, and of course Barry Russell last year. Will it be Gavin Miller in 1989? We'll find that out tomorrow night. There's Joe Kilroy. Good determination by Kilroy. He grabs every opportunity. He loves the big stuff, Joey Kilroy. And there's a tremendous hit by Eddinghausen. Coming in also was Guy Picken. Kilroy taking a bit of pressure now. I've been a little bit disappointed, David, with the workload of the Brisbane forwards so far in the first 20 minutes of this match.
Yes, well, they've had a bit of attacking ball, which has been the intent there is to move the ball out wide. But, yeah, they're sharing around reasonably well. I think Sam Bacco's lost a little bit of confidence after losing the ball early.
French following through out after it, but he's going to miss out on the ball, and running right around with it this time is Magor. Magor is going to be put to the ground.
Always a dangerous tactic there to kick shallow from inside your own territory. Cronulla now in possession inside Brisbane's half.
That's Davidson with it, tackled by Lewis. Dummy half is Jonathan Docking. He'll get it across to Lee. Lee straight ahead. And these big fellows have made some ground so far in the match. Docking again to dummy half outside to Miller. Miller with a long one. He finds coming through over there Dan Staines. He's lost the headgear at this stage. So away from dummy half Docking, but quickly going to be claimed. Keeps it going though. Staines, back it goes. On this time to Porter. Porter sends it back inside to Magor. Magor going to be wrapped up. It gets his pass away to Picken. Picken will be wrestled to the ground 20 metres out. It's the final tackle on its way. Broncos lead by 8-4. Hatch to dummy half. They're going to run it out. Miller with a little kick through. Coming back is Tony Curry. Runs it up in the field of play. Got away from Magor and brings it into a couple of metres inside the field of play.
There it is, the replay of this. Tony Curry really attacked at the ball. Of course, he had to, but good work from Curry because he was standing open when Miller came blind, and he made a lot of ground to get to the bouncing ball.
This is Tronk. But you'll notice these Cronulla forwards, David, 2-3 going in for every tackle and meaning it.
They like gang tackling because they've really come up through the club tradition of having rather smallish packs, and they like to get in there with multiple tackles.
Well, they've done the job on Bacco once again on that occasion. Konescu is the dummy half this time to Terry Madison, trying to step up the centre, but Speechley is the tackler this time. And the final tackle, they haven't gained much ground. Big Gene Miles is going to try and do something about that. Drives it downfield. Bounces away from Jonathan Docking this time, and it'll roll back towards the quarter line. That was a good kick. Jackson comes at him. He got away from Jackson, but doesn't get away from the next tackle. Coming in is Brett Lemay.
Great result that from Brisbane. Miles kicked that from only about 8 metres out from his try line.
Well, they hadn't gained much ground prior to that, had they?
No, they had not, but Cronulla fighting back well.
Yeah, getting up just inside that halfway mark down. Bishop sending it across his time to Porter. Porter trying to charge his way up. Gets about 3 or 4 metres inside Broncos territory before he's put down. Out it goes this time to Pickin. Tackler getting underneath was Scott Tronk. They keep it going. This is Lee. Lee taken by Lewis. Wrestled to the ground. Dummy half is Bishop. This is the final tackle. Works the blind side. Puts in the kick. Is going to find it. 5 metres out from the line. The touch judge put his hand up and the flag continued to go. And he's finally found his flag.
There's Paul Bishop. We might just see the touch judge on the side of the screen here. Watch him throw the flag.
That's not in the manual, Bill, I don't think. You get drummed out of the Brownies for that.
Oh, my goodness, yes. One must never let the flag go. People won't recognise it without it. In by French. Back through his legs. Scooped up by Joey Kilroy coming across from the wing. 16 minutes remaining in this first half. Broncos with a lead of 8 points to 4. Tony Durkin down on the touchline.
Yes, movement on the Sharks bench, Bill. It seems as though Michael Porter may have damaged his knee, and both Arthur Pappas and also Glenn Coleman have started to warm up. Now, maybe Wilson will come in from the wing and go into the hooking role with Coleman going onto the wing, or maybe Pappas will go into the forward pack. I don't think they've quite decided as yet.
Rescue away from dummy half, tackled by Picken. He didn't gain much ground on that occasion. Final tackle back to Lewis. He swings it back to Tony Curry. Curry puts the boot underneath it. Straight down there to Jonathan Docking. Docking runs up the centre. Nice tackle over it. Leman underneath again.
Leman's done a tremendous amount of work in defence.
Speechley, the dummy half. Back it goes to Magor. Magor about 8 metres inside Bronco territory.
Cronulla have got Brisbane on the roundabout. They're playing the game inside Brisbane's territory.
That's Staines getting up very quickly to play it. Porter away from dummy half. Porter barging his way through. Works up to the quarter line. Gene Miles trying to pull him into touch. Dummy half to Bishop. Then away to Miller, to Speechley. Speechley gets it on to Magor, breaks out of a couple of tackles over the quarter line, knocked over, got it to Ettinghausen, to Wilson, and Wilson into the corner. Cronulla score the try that levels it up at 8 points all.
Brilliant try by Cronulla. Mark Magor was the one who really charged onto the ball. It was finished off by Alan Wilson, the man for all seasons. Normally plays in the forward pack. Been picked on the wing tonight to play for his kicking ability. Bishop out through Miller, moved the ball quickly. Speechley pops it up. Look at the charge from Magor, straight through Gary French. Onto the ball beautifully, finds it up to Ettinghausen. Quick hand straight out to Alan Wilson. And although Hancock got to him, he didn't have the strength to stop Alan Wilson going across in the corner. From ground level, we'll see it like this. Good quick hands, change the point of attack through Speechley. There's Magor, the power straight through. Jackson wasn't there in position either. Tony Curry got there. Ettinghausen quick hands out to Alan Wilson. The hand ready to hold off Michael Hancock, and Cronulla have their answer, a fine try.
That last shot showed it beautifully, didn't it? With the big long pass from Speechley, and then we saw Magor charging onto it, getting it away to Ettinghausen, kept it going nicely away to Wilson, and then we saw what Wilson went through to score on the corner. Great stuff by Cronulla. So now Wilson is set to attempt to try and convert the try after all that running.
That was worth the admission, Bill. That was just a superb try, a good team try. And what a way for this big Mark Magor to celebrate his 100th game. He came bursting onto it.
He charged onto that ball like nothing on earth. Blew the defence right out of the water. So Wilson has scored all the points so far for Cronulla and hoping to help himself to another 2-pointer. Record is perfect at this stage. Here he is, on his way in, nice and high. How's the direction? No good, waved away. It's dead set level, 8 points all. Parramatta Stadium, and 8 points all at the moment, and 13 minutes remaining in this, the first half of this match. And Cronulla starting to get the ascendancy here.
They are, Bill. They played good territorial football over those last 10 minutes and finally came up with the points that they were after they trapped Brisbane inside their own half for an extended period of time.
So now we see Davidson taking it up. He'll be put down eventually by, well, Brett LeMans underneath and Backo over the top. They won't put him down. He'll play the ball now. Back it'll go to Speechley. The boot coming in underneath it, kicking on the fourth tackle this time. Getting away from Michael Hancock, who had all sorts of trouble standing up over there, but does get the ball eventually. And Wilson will be the one to put him to ground on the tackle. Tony Curry. Curry wrestled up over there by Gavin Miller. And Miller playing the role that they've been looking for him to play. Jackson running onto it nicely. Here he goes. Big tackle coming over by McGaw. By golly, has he stamped his form on the match so far. Scott Tronk just into the Cronulla territory. Back out to dummy half. Lewis. Long one out to LeMan. Then to Johns. He cuts back inside. Chris Cronulla are well up outside, but this is French. Put to the ground by Bishop, though. Final tackle. Brett LeMan swings it back to Lewis. Lewis decides to kick. Docking running across, bounces up high, it'll come straight down into the hands, and Docking sets sail up over the quarter line, but is tackled by Peter Jackson. Dummy half Davidson decides to go himself, but put to the ground of the tackle of Scott Tronk. Docking, belling it up this time is Picken. Dummy half waiting up there is Porter. 8 all at the moment to Bishop. Speechley, on it goes to McGaw, brushed out of the first tackle, that of Chris Johns, but eventually it's going to be Gary French underneath and Madison over the top. They're really going to have to wrap this fellow up. He's in devastating form here tonight. Hatch will play it, final tackle, Speechley away from dummy half, the kick downfield, not a bad one. Going back this time is Joe Kilroy. Picking it up, decides to run straight ahead. Porter underneath, Davidson over the top. Dummy half, Tony Curry. Straight ahead, but Cronulla now working at keeping Broncos down inside their own half. 10 minutes to go, 8 points all.
And what a first 30 minutes we've had as the Brisbane side throwing it inside their own quarter line. Miles taken in the tackle. Now Scott Tronk. Well, they must control the football at this end of the ground.
You also must go forward, and Brisbane are very keen to get the ball across the field without doing the initial hard work, and Cronulla finding it very easy to move up and really snub them out.
Oh, there's another mistake. Was it a knock-on? Again, forcing the football, and this is where Brisbane can ill afford to make errors.
There's Michael Hancock just knocking it forward. The ball was on the ground, and then he flicked it up. But Cronulla now a chance to apply plenty of pressure.
Well, this Cronulla side showed last year at the Caltex field, once errors are made at Brisbane's end of the ground, how much they can punish them. And David, have you ever seen a back line lined as deep as this?
Andrew Eddinghausen's about 50 metres back from the scrum, and here he comes.
Now, Docking came into the line. He tried to get around Wally Lewis. He did that successfully, but Brett LeMan ran him down. 14 tackles in the first half for Brett LeMan. Porter, a dummy half. Cronulla still lined deep. And that's big guy Picken. Hits the advantage line very, very strongly. Taken in the tackle by Tronk. Here's Miller, dummying, gave a beautiful pass. And Dan Staines met a brick wall in Wally Lewis. Porter looking for the options on the right. It's Bishop to Speechley. Speechley through the dummy, and good defence by Gary French. But Cronulla looking very, very impressive. It's Porter running wide, kept the ball alive. It goes back to big guy Pick and just brushed the defence away, but couldn't push Brett LeMan away. Final tackle. What will the tactics be? That will be the turnover, and Brisbane breathe a sigh of relief, at least for the moment.
Well done, Gary French. He was marking up there, and Miller tried to just get out of the dummy half position to put the kick away, and French got onto him straight away.
Now Miles. Well, this is where the big man Tronk and Backo must make valuable yardage inside this quarter. Now it's Backo. Control of the ball is important as well. We've seen him lose it on several occasions. In the last few weeks, Sam Backo, he's popped it up once already. Now Canescu, it goes to Lewis. He threw the dummy. Lewis has decided to run the football tonight. and he looks such a good player when he does it. He showed in the State of Origin this year and in last week against North Sydney when he decides to run it just how dangerous he is. And he showed it early tonight when he put Jackson in the clear for the Hancock try. Now it's back with Jackson. That's a long kick downfield, but it'll go straight down the throat of Jonathan Docking, and you don't give this guy a chance to run in broken play. This is what he'll do. That's a great recovery by Jonathan Docking. And he takes play once again inside Brisbane's end of the ground. Miller to Bishop. And that was a good pass from Bishop, but well read by the Brisbane defence in Madison and also Brett LeMan. Now Miller giving the pass away again. That's gone forward. Referee Mick Stone allows play to go on. It's Porter the dummy half. Coming open side with Bishop to Speechley. Speechley through the dummy. Pass. LeMan got the tackle in. The ball's gone forward. And it's taken by Gary French, who swept beautifully in that Broncos defence, and he's down injured. And I think the crowds think this is a la Gary Jack.
Mick Stone told him immediately to get up, and also Mick Stone appeared to say play on after the ball was knocked forward by Cronulla. I think he's decided it came off a knee, so that ball was still alive.
Madison giving the ball to Scott Tronk, juggled it. Just forcing the passes, Brisbane. Not settling it as well as I'm sure they would like, and that's tremendous defence. That was a mighty tackle, and it was Dan Staines. There's the kick downfield. Going across is Docking. On the right side is Wilson as well. Wilson knocks it backwards, finally regathers it. And all points so far in the first half have been scored by this man. A try and 2 goals from 3 attempts to take his season's tally to 109, and what a buy, or what a find he's been. Last year he came up with 161 points for the Sharks and played in just about every position.
A very handy player. The feature of tonight's game for Cronulla has been their ball control. Their ball handling has been excellent, and that's what's allowed them to put consistent pressure on the Broncos.
Well, territorially they've had, about 90% of that advantage. Final tackle into the final 5 minutes. It goes back to Speechley, whose kicking game has been pretty spot on tonight. He's really put the pressure on Brisbane. And again, the bouncing ball is fielded by Joey Kilroy. And he takes it about 11 or 12 metres out from his own goal line. Got the pass away. Tony Curry's met with some very solid defence. And anyone that's thought there's doubts about Andrew Ettinghausen's defence has certainly been ruled out tonight. He's really come up with 3 or 4 big hits.
Well, the whole side is tackling ferociously, and there's an indication 4 players into the tackle on Lewis.
And Guy Picken is the injured player, and appears that the right arm is the problem. You can just see him at the top of the picture. And that would be a cruel blow to this Cronulla side, because he really has led the charge pretty well tonight. Picken is coming straight off the field and getting attention from the trainer at the moment. Tony Durkin will bring us up to date on that in a moment. He goes back now to Docking. They've kicked on the 4th tackle, the Broncos. But they're giving this guy all room to move. And he will open you up. And he's done just that. And he's just turned defence straight back into attack.
Yeah, Brett LeMan it was who kicked the ball downfield. Certainly wasn't part of the script.
15 missed tackles by the Broncos. David Hatch into open space. Crawls again. And now the Brisbane defence under all sorts of pressure. Danny Lee. It goes to Miller. Long pass for Porter. Got inside the defence of Madison. But Madison came again. It's still alive. Ettinghausen plays the ball. Good ball movement, Miller. Miller's in. Gavin Miller, his first try of 1989. But he couldn't have scored a more important one. It's put Cronulla back in the lead.
Well, we talk about the unexpected. Wally Lewis running. Well, this man did his bit of running. Unexpected because, as David Fordham said, he has not scored a try all year. Cronulla's attack has been outstanding. They're keeping the ball alive. Ettinghausen sprints in, puts Brisbane back onto the back foot again. A quick play the ball. Gavin Miller in good position. Brisbane held off expecting the pass. Miller decides to run. Sam Bacco can't make the tackle or the change of direction. And Gavin Miller in under the sticks.
Let's have another look again. There he goes, straight through, brushed away from a couple and right underneath. Wilson should be able to put it over, and that'll be a nice one for them to go into the half-time break, Cronulla.
Yes, it certainly is, Bill, because this kick will open up a 6-point lead. And Jonathan Docking must take a lot of credit for that, for the way he turned defence into attack from that long kick on the 4th tackle. He made about 40 or 50 metres and let Cronulla get on that roll. Now, I wonder if the lessons have been learned to keep the ball away from Jonathan Docking, because on 2 or 3 occasions he's made the Brisbane defence in the middle of the park look substandard. Gavin Miller try about to be converted from right in front by Alan Wilson. Surely he won't have any trouble with this. He won't. Up go the flags. It's 14-8 and the Sharks in the lead. Back at the Parramatta Stadium, 18 missed tackles by the Broncos in this first half has allowed Cronulla to open up a 6-point lead, and that last try scored by Gavin Miller. He had a mighty year last year. He was the Dally M Player of the Year. He was the Dally M Second Rower of the Year, runner-up in the Rothmans Medal. But this year it's been a rather disappointing year for him, David, captain of the New South Wales side that suffered that whitewash defeat at the hands of Queensland. I think nothing would have given him more delight than to put that ball under the post with Wally Lewis looking on.
Yeah, the only one thing that will give him more delight is if Cronulla are in front at the end of the game.
That pass was forward to Danny Lee, but not read by Mick Stone. And we're into the final minute. It's been a fabulous 40 minutes. And just part of all the rugby league action, we're bringing you on 10 in the next few weeks. More live coverage of that elimination semi-final next Saturday as Joey Kilroy driven back by some determined defence by Davidson. Now Curry ran around Guy Picken, but Picken came at him again. Someone's got to go forward for the Broncos, and now that's what Gene Miles is endeavouring to do. And let's see if we can see another eager runner. Bacco is lining up. Bacco has taken it, hit the advantage line, but Hill there got the pass away. Madison, no support, nowhere to go. He did very well, Terry Madison, linking up again with French. It goes to Lewis, the hoot is sounded. Back for Curry. Jackson got the pass away. Johns, Lewis. And Lewis will die with the ball. Referee Mick Stone says, let's call an end to the first 40 minutes. 3 tries have punctuated it. 2 to Cronulla, 1 to Brisbane, and the crowd rises to applaud the Cronulla side off the field because they hold a vital lead of 14 points to 8. Back in a moment at the Parramatta Stadium.
Reshuffle in the back line. The other very important change, Tony Curry is off at fullback and Shane Duffy is the replacement.
Now here's the kick-off. They found touch in the in-goal area.
And it's also been touched by Brisbane. So Joe Kilroy touched it a second time. Brisbane has completely made a mess of the kick-off. This one is even worse. They let one go in a touch in the first half, and now immediately from the start of the second half, it's gone touch in goal and off Joe Kilroy. Brisbane under pressure immediately. Wally Lewis forced to do a goal line dropout.
So just repeating those couple of changes, Alan Langer on the field, and so too is Duffy, Shane Duffy. And I hope David his handling has improved a bit since reserve grade, because he was pretty shaky, wasn't he?
He certainly was. He dropped a couple of balls, did Shane Duffy, so he'll have to sort of work much harder in this second half. Good to see Alan Langer on there. He's just the sort of player that could spark Brisbane in the second half.
All right, taking it up this time is Lee, gets up to the Broncos quarter line. Dummy half is David Hatch to Bishop, works back the other way. This is Miller. He looks for support, was going to give it to... Oh, it's lost. He was going to give it to Bishop, but then decided not to. And then coming through over there was Eddinghausen, and he's knocked it on.
There's Miller. Look at the time he's got to stand in that tackle. Fires it up to Eddinghausen. He was away before he had the ball in his hands. Loose head and feed Brisbane.
In by Alan Langer.
Lewis is at lock and French at 5'8".
There's Gary French with it now, but can't make much headway. Here's Tony again.
Terry Madison has a reoccurrence of that back injury which forced him out of the game against North Sydney at Lang Park on Saturday, and Tony Curry has done a hamstring injury.
Okay, so it's Gene Miles trying to take it up, and look at that Cronulla defence.
This would be the worst forward rucking that Brisbane have put on this year. And it takes a centre to finally put a bit of forward momentum into things. And
that centre, of course, is Chris Johns. Back we go to Tronk straight ahead, but look at this Cronulla defence. Back they go. Conescu getting it back to Lewis. Lewis kicking deep downfield, but straight to Jonathan Docking again. But there's Alan Langer up there this time to put him down. 8 metres short of the halfway mark. Well, if Alan Langer can take care of Jonathan Docking every time he gets the ball, there might be a chance here.
He could have been handy in the first 40 minutes.
So taking it up is Porter. Porter putting the ground 10 metres inside Broncos territory. Dummy half is Hatch. He gets it away. This time to Miller again, having a cut through there and gaining about another 7 or 8 metres. So back it goes then to Hatch. Hatch will be wrapped up 30 metres out from the Broncos line, and the final tackle on its way. Hatch taking a bit of time to play the ball. Back it goes to Miller, tries to get his tackle in. He's a chance of getting the pass away. He does, and then the kick is going to be put up there by Danny Lee, taken by Duffy, which is a good start for him. He gets up to about 15 metres out from his own line. Langer to dummy half. Chris Johns running it out.
It's not Chris Johns' job to run this out, Billy.
No, but he's doing it. Here's Langer again. Works it across to French. French trying to get on the outside of Miller. He slips over and eventually claimed by Eddinghausen. This is Bacco. Just over the quarter. Tackler up there was Gavin Miller. Tronk, LeMan. Dummies, but Speechley's there to take care of him. Final tackle. Kinescu. Miles sends it away to Lewis. Lewis gets the kick in. He had Staines running at him. Back there by Docking. Docking straight ahead. Crowd roaring that those Broncos players are offside. Referee Stone unmoved. Hatch. Dummy half is Porter. 4 tackles to Alan Langer already in this second half. That had to be forward. But coming away with it is Staines. Porter to Miller. Back the other way. Coming through is Picken. Picken got it away to Speechley. Speechley pulled down. Still on the bustle though. Back to Miller. Miller setting sail up the centre. Langer going high. They wrap him up. Final tackle. Bishop's the dummy half. What'll he do? Send it across to Speechley. Here's the little kick through, but straight into the hands of Bacco. Big Sam up over the quarter line. Oh, it's lost by Johns. The ball rolling loose. Dived on by Bacco.
Well, it's
and a penalty.
Holding back it was. Let's have a look at it. Beautiful break by Bacco. He took the ball on the full. He holds off one. David Hatchett was. Fired the ball up. Chris Johns couldn't get to it. Sam Bacco tries to get to the ball. A penalty, though, has gone to Cronulla.
I don't think he held him back, do you?
No, a rather severe penalty it is, but Cronulla now with a chance. There's Wayne Bennett, a very solemn face. And well he might be. Brisbane, one of their worst performances this season, and they saved it for a sudden death playoff. Alan Wilson now with a great chance to extend this lead. They lead by 6 at the moment. That is a converted try. They can push that out to a very handy 8-point lead.
So here is Alan Wilson now. You can see the look of anguish on Chris Johns' face, missing the ball on that occasion.
Well, he would have put it down under the sticks, no doubt about that. He's a real flyer. Johns, Bacco got the pass to him. He might have just been the slightest bit unsighted, but very little excuse. As you said, Bill, he'd be blaming himself more than anyone else at the moment.
So here's Alan Wilson moving back onto his mark. We're 5 minutes into the second half. Cronulla's lead is 14-8. Here it is now. Let's have a look. And it is away to the right-hand side of the uprights. So the score remains 14-8 in Cronulla's favour. So Fay will come back onto the quarter line.
One of the problems Brisbane have had tonight is that they've played the vast majority of the game inside their own territory. They've wanted to attack, but they haven't had good positional play. It's absolutely vital for their chances to hold Cronulla inside their own territory. And Dan Staines immediately brings the ball back over the halfway line.
Just on the halfway of play to Speechley as the dummy half. Crossover there to Picken, bumps off one tackle. Eventually Lewis pulls him down. Eddinghausen dummy half. They work the blind side. That's Porter. Bump away goes the tackler, which was Brett LeMan. And these big fellows really turning it on out here for Cronulla. Gavin Miller, Speechley. He gets it away to McGaw, got away from Jackson. Eventually French and Alan Langer there. Speechley is the dummy half. On to Miller, back inside it goes. Staines, 10 metres inside Broncos territory, final tackle. Speechley, Miller, who seems to be everywhere at the moment, gets a kick in. Did Gene Miles touch it? I think he lifted his boot far enough.
Very fancy footwork there from Miles, trying to get out of the road to make sure that he didn't give loose head and feet to Cronulla. The crowd don't like it. Watch Miles here. Flicks the foot up out of the road. He didn't touch it, and Langer will feed the ball.
In by Langer. Standing at the side of the scrum to get it. He sets it across to French, then Duffy. Duffy to the quarter line, wrapped up. Speechley, he's a great defensive player. He's done the job there tonight.
What a tackle.
Big stuff coming in. David Hatch, and the fella first up, of course, was Lee. Langer gets it away to Miles. Miles on this time to Hancock. Hancock props, cuts back inside. Miller gets him. They can't get him into touch, though. Dummy half Johns to Bacco. Bacco up to the halfway mark, but there they are, all around him again. McGaw, Staines underneath, and also into the tackle is Lee. Langer, French, cuts out Lewis, gets it away, over the top it goes to Kilroy, lost it, picks it up. Knockback, says the referee. The whole of the Cronulla team had stopped on that occasion.
Well, so did Joe Kilroy. You've got to play the whistle, Joe.
So now we see the final tackle coming up with Kinescu as dummy half to Langer. Langer with a little chip kick. He's out after it. He regathers, sends it away this time to Jackson. Jackson around the corner to LeMan. LeMan gets it back to Lewis. Lewis in for the try, and Alan Langer started it going, and the Broncos are back in business.
Alfie Yu Junius, he's been on there for a couple of minutes. He's set the play going on the left-hand side, and now a couple of minutes later on the right, the chip kick over the top, the regather. He might have been out for 2 months. He hasn't lost the brilliance. Found Peter Jackson. At a moment it looked like it could die here. Brett LeMan had to juggle, and then he looked to Chris Johns, couldn't offload it immediately. Lewis on the spot, Brisbane back into the game, and put it down to Alan Langer. Here it is again from ground level. Beautiful chip kick. When you kick just underneath the ball, the chances are it'll pop up for you. The handwork as well from Langer. Jackson on the spot. Hands at one hand back on the inside. Juggled by Brett LeMan. He had presence of mind to wait for the support, and found Wally Lewis for his first try for tonight, and certainly played a big part in the earlier try to Michael Hancock.
Well, I think the Metway Bank replay showed it all, and as you say, Brett LeMan didn't panic, and he had men on the left-hand side, but he waited and did look everywhere and found Wally Lewis coming through. So there's the little fellow, Alan Langer. Welcome back to the big time.
Well, there's two things that are going to come out of tonight, Bill. That Wayne Bennett is going to be hailed as a hero if Langer can spark a second half comeback. Brisbane happened to falter in this second half. It'll be questioned why wasn't Alan Langer on there in the first 40 minutes.
Here's Gary French's kick at goal. It is there. It's there. And so it's 14 points all here at Parramatta Stadium.
Just on half an hour remaining here at the Parramatta Stadium, and this crowd that have braved the conditions tonight, rather cold and wintry night here in Sydney, have been treated to four special tries. And Alan Langer really putting his stamp on this game. He only played in 17 minutes of the match against North last week in his comeback match. But David, we remember that he put Tony Curry over for a try.
Yes, he's a brilliant player, reads the game so well. He fired a good long pass out a little while ago to create an opportunity on the left-hand side. All the time he's thinking. He reads the game as well as Wally Lewis. There's a long way to go in the match yet.
Back to Lewis on the final tackle, the kick downfield. Now, will he put it down Rocking's throat on this occasion? No, he won't. The chasers are up there in French and Langer meets him with the assistance of French, and they wrap him up just short of halfway. Bishop turning it away for Davidson. Davidson stood in the tackle, gets another 3 or 4 metres, and finally Bacco comes in the ball and all. Hitting the advantage line this time is Picken, and did very well to take it to about 35 metres out from the Broncos try line. It's Porter a dummy half for Miller. Beautiful pass, Miller. He's put Bishop in the clear. He beat Langer's tackle. Speechley and Cronulla come back with the immediate reply. Mike
Michael Speechley. A superb try, his third for the season, but you'll see in the midway replay that it was Gavin Miller who set it all up.
Yeah, watch the beautiful pass from Miller. Had a couple of runners to pick from. Semblance there of a Shepherd as Bishop certainly was covered by Speechley, who was supporting. Gary French couldn't get to him. And there's Michael Hancock just getting to the man right at the last. Let's have a look at it. There's Gary French, can't get to Bishop, but when you're trying to support, you don't have to get out of the road. Speechley in still good position to back up, and there, just at the last minute, Michael Hancock tackles, all too late, and it's a fine try.
Let's have a look at the end on, and you'll see there's Gary French trying to come in there, but Speechley was in between he and Bishop, and eventually Speechley's the man to end up with the ball and run away for the try, even though Michael Hancock appeared on the scene right at the death, enough momentum to see him through.
Third try for the Sharks. It's put them in the lead, 18-14. So immediately the Broncos strike back. The Shark attack continues here at Parramatta Stadium. And Alan Wilson, 3 goals from 5 attempts, has a chance to put the Sharks safely 6 points in the lead. He's only about 5 metres to the right of the uprights. No doubt, over the black dot, it's the Sharks over the Broncos by 20 points to 14. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Back at the Parramatta Stadium, 26 minutes of play remains. So the reply by Cronulla came less than 4 minutes after Wally Lewis had scored that crucial try for the Broncos. Well, David, the crowd who came out here to the Parramatta Stadium haven't been treated. They've seen some marvellous football.
Both great attacking sides. This fellow really has served it up today. He was criticised a couple of weeks ago when they faltered against the Gold Coast. Gavin Miller has had a blinder. He scored 1 try and passes for the other 2. It's certainly made a big difference to the Cronulla attack.
Well, he had an absolute blinder last weekend against Illawarra. Well, down on the touchline is Bobby McCarthy, one of the former South Sydney greats and our coach of the Gold Coast Giants.
And Bob, this performance by Cronulla tonight making your Giants look pretty good.
Oh, they're playing a lot better than they played against us, Tony, but yeah, full marks them. They are playing pretty good. Their defence is really immaculate, and they've got to do that against the Broncos because we all know the Broncos have got so much class in their side, and you sit back and watch them play the football like touch of the pieces, and Cronulla really, they're really giving it to them in defence.
Your old side, South Sydney, have done everything right this year, finished the minor premiership, won it easily, in fact. Can they go all the way?
We'd have to say they can. I mean, they finished 5 points in front of the second best side, Penrith. Major consensus is they can't win it, but I don't go along with that. I think if you can do it, you're up there, and they've got the side to do it, and it's just a matter of how they are on the day.
Bob, not the greatest season for the Giants, but you're a 50% better side than last year.
Yeah, we've improved our status. Better go back to we've improved our status 50%, Tony, and as long as we make that improvement, I think that that's all the better for the Gold Coast.
Thanks for your time, Macca.
Bobby McCarthy, one of the greats, the man that's worn the South Sydney jumper in first grade more than any other player. Now coaching the Gold Coast Giants, whose reserve grade side tonight went down by 22 points to 7 for the Brisbane Broncos. We now keep their hopes alive. They're going to survive another sudden death on Thursday night against South Sydney. Here's another big run-up field by Picken, and he's just short of the quarter line, and this Cronulla side sense they've got Brisbane on the rack at the moment. It goes to Bishop, the long pass to Speechley. He threw the dummy through. Oh, so easy. Speechley, support, Eddinghausen, try.
Brilliant stuff from Michael Speechley. Gary French couldn't handle the tackle. The step from Speechley. Eddinghausen juggled. He scored 5 tries last week, and it's with pace like this. Bishop fires the long ball out. Speechley, renowned for his defence, also slipped through the tackle of Gary French, got to the fullback and Duffy. Duffy does a pretty fair job here to get a hand on him. The ball up to Eddinghausen. He juggled, dragged the ball forward, but well done from Cronulla. Here's the quick hands out wide. Something Brisbane haven't been able to do is get the ball out wide and also create opportunities. Speechley through, tries to step. Duffy gets a hand on him. Back up from Eddinghausen. Brilliant hands. And he's over for Cronulla's Another fine try for Cronulla, the second in the second half.
Well, Speechley's done the job in defence, and now he's really turned a bit of attack in here. Look at him step through. There's the pass. Ettinghausen, Johnny on the spot, and Cronulla in for another one. Open up a 10-point break, and will be very hard to run down from there.
13th try of the season for Andrew Ettinghausen, and 30 tries in the last 2 years. He equalled the try-scoring record held by Ray Corcoran and Chris Gardner with 17 last year. Corcoran set that record in 1971 and Gardner in 83. So 30 tries to ET in 2 seasons. But surely that try could well sound the death knell for the Brisbane Broncos in their campaign in 1989. They lead by 10 with the kick to come and just over 22.5 minutes of play remaining. 4 from 6. Wilson, can he make it 5 from 7? He's done it. It's 26 points to 14. Stadium, it's the Sharks by 12, 26 points to 14, and they really are on a roll. And looking, I know history means nothing as far as these matches are concerned, David, but last year, 38-8, they beat the Broncos. It was a record-winning margin against the Broncos since they came in, but then the Brisbane side turned the tables this year with a 42-10 victory. So both matches have been runaway victories to either side.
They're brilliant attacking sides, and when they get on top, Cronulla, they're a very hard side to handle. There's a nice pick-up by Bishop. Just shows you how much confidence they're playing with. But when we think back to that previous try, once again came from another good retrieve of the kick by Jonathan Docking, who got Cronulla back on the attack once again.
Well, the Broncos with the job ahead of them. They trail by 6, and we're nearly at the halfway mark of the second half. And as David mentioned, once this Cronulla side get on the roll, they take a lot of stopping. It's Langer for French. It goes out to Jackson. Quick hands for Johns. And Johns very nearly got through, but a superb tackle by Andrew Ettinghausen. Now Miles. Johns the dummy half, looking for Bacco. Bacco takes on the defence, got beyond the advantage line, but couldn't unload. Gary French, who will be kicking himself for allowing Speechley to get through that gap, which led to the try. Here's Miles with the kick and chase. Docking says thank you very much. Tried to beat the tackle of Michael Hancock, but it is taken just inside his own quarter line. And the big question mark is, Billy, at the halfway mark of the second half, can the Broncos come back?
Well, they've really got the job ahead of them, the way Cronulla are playing at this stage. They're playing with so much purpose. You've got forwards like this fella taking it up all night. You've got Gavin Miller, who's doing just about everything that happens. And then you've got good players outside that are spot on tonight. The centres are just going like absolute trains out there.
Certainly been fired up, Cronulla. For Brisbane to win tonight, they need to score a try, a converted try, at least in the next 5 minutes.
Here's Gavin Miller again. Dummies, works his way through, puts it away a couple of tackles up over the halfway. Here's Ettinghausen. He's got Docking with him. He runs away from him, though, and taken over there on the tackle of Duffy.
Great tackle, Shane Duffy, on the 5th tackle.
Dummy half up there as Wilson. Here's Miller again. He's everywhere, working across field, shapes to kick, but a penalty coming up for a Shepherd, was it?
And he's also got Wally Lewis for a high tackle, I think. Is he calling Lewis over?
Here it is again. Brett Leman, I think it was, who came across. Just cuffed Gavin Miller there. But Miller, well, he's exhausted because he's been given so much room to move out there tonight. He's run himself into the ground.
I hope that little cuff on the head didn't spoil his good looks. So here's Koneski to take the tap. And straight ahead goes Sam Bacco. 19 minutes remaining in the match. And Cronulla with a lead of 26-14. Pass to no one, picked up by French. French in turn is going to be put to the ground by Lee coming in underneath. Konescu, Langer, Leman working his way up the centre, got under Miller, who went high on that occasion. Eventually Speechley back there, though. Great defensive player. Langer jinking around, still going. Eventually Hatch with a tackle. Dummy half Konescu. Tronk cuts out French to Jackson. Jackson still going Jackson. Now working back inside, but going to be wrapped up. Final tackle to Langer. Langer puts it up high. Coming away with it is Speechley.
Great work there by Michael Speechley, prepared to contest the ball. Brisbane in around it, but no one in the Broncos went up for the ball, and Michael Speechley had a clear shot at it.
So winding up as dummy half is Bishop. He gets it away to Lee. Tackled by French this time underneath. And over the top is Lewis.
Brisbane must pin Cronulla here inside their own quarter to keep a bit of pressure on.
Well, Cronulla still down just on their own quarter line. There's Tronk coming in over the top, so there's no chance of getting the pass away on that occasion. It's the final tackle. In Porter's dummy half, he'll swing it back to Gavin Miller. Miller drives it straight downfield. Juggled back by Duffy. Picks it up quickly, though. But that allows the defence to get up on top of him. He'll play it. Kilroy. Alan Langer's dummy half. To Lewis. Cronulla pouring up on top of them out wide. Leman back to Lewis. Then away to French. French up the centre. On to Canescu. Canescu around the corner to Kilroy. Claimed by McGaw. Canescu again. Inside to Miles. McGaw drove him back, McGaw drove him back a couple of metres. Hatch was in the tackle also. He's really asserted himself there tonight. Langer with a little kick. Docking's back there. Langer trying to take it on the toe. Docking comes away with it. Held up on the halfway mark. Dummy half Porter. Back over to Wilson. Hancock chases him from the wing. They eventually put him down, but he's 8 metres inside Bronco territory. Here's Docking again. Taken in the tackle by Chris Johns. Wilson. They're all lining. They're knocking each other over to run it up now, Cronulla.
Brisbane won't knock them over, so...
But Gene Miles has got to keep those tackles down.
McGaw to play it. Dummy half quarter. Staines. Just saw that tackle go through then. Bishop, Speechley, drop shot at goal. That's really rubbing it in, but it's well wide.
Good tactics, though, from Cronulla, because they lead by 2 converted tries at the moment at 26-14. To extend it by that 1 point would make it almost impossible for Brisbane to win the match.
McGaw down in back play. Doesn't look too good, Tony.
No, he's back to his feet now, Bill. He certainly copped the high one there, but...
Yeah, he's going around in circles. Does that mean you're not good?
His 100th the game for the Sharks tonight. He's had a blinder. I bet he stays on.
I bet he doesn't remember the rest of it. Dummy half is Canescu. This is Miles. Oh, he sent the pass back behind. They scooped it up. Away it goes. Duffy. Wrapped up, though. They've got quite a few men out wide if they can clear it out there, the Broncos. Canescu to Langer. To Lewis. Langer doubles around to French. French trying to find a way through. Still going. Floats it over the top. This is Kilroy. Bishop. He got away from his tackle. Can't get away from Eddinghausen and Davidson. Scott Tronk is down, injured in back play, but back onto his feet. So now it's back over to Langer. Turns it away to Johns. Johns to Lewis. Lewis trying to get the pass away. He's wrapped up, though. Here's the lucky last to Langer. He decides to run it. Now back inside. It's going to be lost by Johns. And the referee to play the knock-on.
Forward, sure and certain. Alan Langer trying a little bit of variation on that last tackle, and it'll be a turnover to Cronulla with a knock-on the last.
15 minutes remaining in the match. Cronulla lead by 26-14. Tony?
Changes are being made for the Broncos. Scott Tronk is coming on. He's been replaced by number 27, Andrew G. And in the Cronulla side, we've seen Glenn Coleman take the field, and the player coming off is the big prop forward, Guy Picken.
Well, he's done his job pretty well, hasn't he, David?
Yeah, he's cut it up very well today. The whole Cronulla forward pack have worked extremely hard, and presumably now Alan Wilson will come in, who's been spending his time on the wing tonight, scoring a few points while he's been out there. Will now be a lot pressure to take up his position in the pack, and Coleman will go back out onto the wing.
Docking is the dummy half. They work it up. Just on the halfway mark. Docking to Miller. Outside then to Porter. Porter out of the first one. Kilroy at him. Got away first up from Peter Jackson. So time really running out for the Broncos now. That's McGaw. Docking's dummy half on the final to Miller. Miller with a kick for touch and finds it beautifully. He's done everything tonight, Gavin Miller.
Yeah, he's really been pulling the strings. The ball went very close to Joe Kilroy here as he just tried to block it, but definitely got away from him. Therefore, Brisbane will have the advantage of loose head and feed.
So waiting for this scrum to pack down. Cronulla to feed. He must have touched it. So Bishop. Bishop gets it away to Speechley. Outside to Docking into the back line. Docking straight ahead. He's out of the first couple. He got it back inside to Bishop. Bishop all around. Out to David Hatch, and Hatch in for the try.
Cronulla rubbing it in. There was a semblance of a forward pass involved in that. Jonathan Docking, who came into the back line, made the extra man. And with the 5 metres at the base of the scrum, plenty of opportunities to move the ball wide. Cronulla stood deep all night to give those chances. Look at Docking, one of the smallest guys on the field, able to stand in tackles, to pass up to Bishop, and Bishop to step back to try and look for support, and he finds that support. David Hatch, and he storms onto the ball, does Hatch, the captain of Cronulla. From ground level like this, the pass quickly out. Jonathan Docking is at a blinder. Look at this, the smallest man on the field, shrugging through some pathetic attempts at tackle, and there's Bishop on the backup. He realised he can't go any further, but he's got a player who can, and that's David Hatch. Storms across, 3 tries in a row by Cronulla, and they've racked it up.
Well, look at the strength of this little man, Jonathan Docking, and David Hatch would have a grin from ear to ear. He's been with the Sharks since 1978, the captain of the year, the Dally M captain of the year last year and in 1985. One of the unsung heroes, Billy's first try of the year, and it's the one that's clinched the semi-final spot for the Cronulla Sharks, their 6th appearance in the semi-final.
Well, that's certainly wrapped them right up now. 30 points to 14. Tony, there's an injured Broncos player down there. Is that Gary French?
Gary French is the player down, Bill. He'll have to get back to his feet, though, because the Broncos have used their 4 replacements in this match.
Wilson back onto his mark, ready for the shot at goal. It's on its way, 32 to 14. Cronulla lead here at Parramatta Stadium.
And back here at the Parramatta Stadium, we're into the final 10 minutes of this playoff for 5th spot. The final tackle for the Sharks. They lead by 32 points to 14 and are now safely on their way to a semi-final appearance. The minor elimination semi-final at the Sydney Football Stadium next Saturday afternoon against the Green Machine, the Canberra Raiders. And Channel 10 Brisbane will be bringing you that action live from 2:45. And of course on Sunday, it's the semi-final involving 3rd and 4th, and that's the clash between Penrith, 2nd and 3rd, the clash between Penrith and Balmain. And there's Michael Porter. He's done a fine job tonight. They nearly brought him off early in the match, Tony Durkin, but he stayed out there to savour all the glory.
Yes, he certainly is a tough boy, young Michael Porter, but finally he has succumbed to a knee injury, and he's been replaced by number 15, Arthur Pappas.
Well, I'm sure that his father, Monty Porter, would be sporting a great big smile at the moment, because he goes back to the early days with this Cronulla side. He was the first captain back in 1967, Monty Porter. Now Coleman. And Tony, we spoke about the try-scoring performances of Andrew Eddinghausen. Monty had one to claim in that first year.
Yes, the leading try scorer for Cronulla in 1967, Monty Porter. He scored 3 tries in that season, 2 in one match. E.T. scored 5 last Sunday.
And he's come up with the gem of a try tonight, one of the 5 tries scored by the Sharks. And he and McGraw have absolutely been outstanding out wide, but I think the credit has got to go, David, to this tremendous forward pack of Cronulla. They're virtually unheard of, with the exception of players like Gavin Miller. There's some unsung heroes out there. David Hatch and the Danny Lees. Then look at Miller again. Opened them up, gave it away. The pass over the top. Magore
Hold it back.
goes back in for a try. No try. Forward pass, it deserved one. It was brilliant play again by Gavin Miller. The Medway replay will show how he just opened Brisbane up out wide once again.
A little dummy on the inside confused Brisbane. Have a look at this. There's the dummy runner. Then back on the outside. Wally Lewis couldn't get back to him. Gavin Miller elected the outside player here in Wilson. He could have looked on the inside. Docking was there as he's been all night. The pass out to Magore looked to be okay. Referee Mick Stone didn't think it was. And Brisbane have been saved from further sufferance. They only trail 32-14.
Well, Mark Magore would have deserved a try tonight. He's had an outstanding game. Who will forget the tremendous way he ran onto the ball to set up the first Cronulla try, scored by Alan Wilson in that first half.
Gene Miles, injured. One of the things that Cronulla will take out of this match is some pretty fresh players. I think one of the fears is Gene Miles as he takes the ball up. Looked like to be a fairly simple tackle. Perhaps Magore coming over the top there may have caused him some trouble. He's okay to play the ball, but one of the fears of any coach coming into tonight's game would have been a hard match with injuries. But Alan Fitzgibbon, the Cronulla coach, he can take enormous credit from this win today. The way he's prepared his side, the mental approach they've taken onto the field, and they should be pretty keen when they come up against Canberra on Saturday.
Only appears to be another change in the Cronulla side.
Number 16, Chris Quinn, is coming on for the Sharks, and he'll replace Big Mark Magore.
He came on as a replacement last week and scored a try against Illawarra. A pretty handy replacement coming onto the game with 7 minutes to go, but this game well and truly wrapped up, and that really has just rubbed salt into the wound for Brisbane. Something you don't see too often, the normally very reliable kicking game of the internationals in this Brisbane side. That ball screwing off the boot and into touch on the fall.
One of the surprising things for to me tonight has been the number of players who've tried to kick in general play. We saw Brett the man kicking the first half. Miles, Lewis, Jackson's done a bit as well. But Wally Lewis is the best tactical kicker in the game, and yet he hasn't been employed at all times.
Coleman now from dummy half gave it away this time to Lee. And again hitting that line very, very strongly. Coleman, one of the fresh players, darts out of dummy half. Tried to be bulldogged to the ground by Alan Langer. And now Cronulla setting it again for another attack on this Brisbane line. They've scored 5 tries to 2. They lead 32-14. Miller reeled out of the tackle, got the pass away. Cronulla keep it alive. It goes out this time to Quinn, the kick in general play, but it goes dead in goal. So play will come back to the quarter line as Cronulla gear themselves to make yet another change. Okay, so David Harris on as a replacement. Speechley, the man going off. But it's been a tremendous performance. Speechley, 16 tackles, 5 tries to 2. They led by 14-8 at half-time, the Cronulla Sharks. Oh, that's a tremendous hit by Wilson on Lewis. And the crowd love it. Another mistake. Cronulla. So Harris goes to dummy half. Into the last 5 minutes. It goes to Gavin Miller. Held the pass up, loose on the ground. It's been dived on this time by Arthur Pappas.
One of the few mistakes by Cronulla, the pass up from Gavin Miller. He shakes his head. He can't believe how it didn't find a hand. Dan Staines also disappointed. They played to perfection tonight, Cronulla, and they deserve to get into that knockout semi-final against the Raiders.
Well, David, there are 10 survivors from that side that played the preliminary final against Brisbane Balmain last year, where they defeated 9 points to 2. And obviously that experience, they faltered late in the year, but I think lessons have been well learned by this Cronulla side. They're going to take a bit of stopping.
They will. They've played very well tonight. They've moved up extremely quickly. They've shut down the attacking machine of Brisbane tonight. They've reduced their attack to a shambles. And whether or not they can do the same to Canberra, who also boast a great attacking record, the best in the competition, I might add. That'll be very interesting on Saturday. It'll be live, of course, on Channel 10 at 2:45.
And rest assured, there'll be some great attacking play in that. This Cronulla machine up against the green machine, the Canberra Raiders. And as David mentioned, 2:45 onwards, live on Saturday afternoon here on Brisbane 10. Chris Johns, he's worked valiantly out there tonight, but to no avail. It's been a comprehensive performance by the Cronulla side. That pass was forward. Canescu Now it goes out to Miles, but this time it's Harris that comes in to effect the tackle. Now Lewis, a little kick and chase by Wally Lewis. He can't get the bounce, loose on the ground, that player's offside.
Langer, I think it was, who kicked it back, so Cronulla are in good position again. Brisbane are tired. They've only got a couple of minutes to go. Cronulla could still add further points.
Well, this Cronulla side came into the premiership in 1967. They've appeared in 2 grand finals. That was in 73 and 78, both times going down to Manly Warringah. They finished the minor premiers last year, but they faltered in the final. But in 1989, they make their 6th appearance in a semi-final. Other appearances, 73, 78, 79, 1981, and of course, as minor premiers last year, finished in the semi-finals. But for Brisbane, it would have been a history-making performance in their 2nd year. Their reserve grade side still alive for yet another playoff here on Thursday night at the Parramatta Stadium, when they will face South Sydney after weathering that first playoff tonight, 22 points to 7 over the Gold Coast. Wayne Bennett, the end of the year for him. Scotty Tronk, I think, David, those pictures tell a story.
Yeah, great disappointment. You always hope that in these crunch matches your side is going to perform to its maximum. Brisbane have not done that tonight, largely because Cronulla have continually harassed them. One of the few breaks.
Well, Miles running out wide, got the pass back infield. It's been knocked forward by Cronulla, but dives on to play. The referee says play on. Now it goes for Harris, ran straight into Sam Bacco. I think Harris may have felt the brunt of that one, very slowly to his feet. The curtain coming down on the Brisbane campaign in '89. A campaign that promised so much early in the season. And then, of course, they faltered.
Here's Docking, superb play. Davidson goes in. The Shark attack tells the story. And the 6th try by the Cronulla side here at Parramatta Stadium tonight.
Well, Gavin Miller once again back in back play, looking up after he's knocked to the ground from this tackle to see one of his players, one of the players that he set up, score another try. What a great game from Gavin Miller. He's been criticised at times for not being able to do the ball distribution in the top matches. Well, he's had a field day today. He's looked like Artie Beetson and Steve Rhodes combined. Jonathan Docking has fed off the passes all day. John Davidson in good support. Brisbane have got no answer, and Cronulla have totally dominated the match. Deserving winners, and they've done it in fine style.
Well, Johnny Davidson, of course, the former Balmain player, is there for 8 seasons and never appeared in a grand final there. I wonder whether he may get there on grand final day with this Cronulla side on September 24. The disappointment on the Broncos' face as they have been absolutely, totally outclassed. And Alan Wilson, 6 goals from 8 attempts, taking his tally to 117 points for the season. Has the ball placed. This will make it 38 points to 14 if he strikes it well enough, and he's done just that. So he's now landed 7 from 9, and the Cronulla Sharks have scored 6 tries to 2. That, in anyone's language, Billy, is a comprehensive hiding.
Oh, yes, the way they've gone about it has been top class too. A great effort, and gee, what about Gavin Miller? I think it's one of the best we've seen for a while, David.
Outstanding by Gavin Miller. He really showed the way for his side. Brisbane's defensive pattern had no answer to the man standing in tackles, running the angles. They had no answer for this man either. Jonathan Docking, who was fed up some beautiful ball. He really played well, Jonathan Docking. Really a great all-round performance by Cronulla. Their confidence will be high for this Saturday, and beware the Raiders, because Cronulla have shown they're capable of some good football. One of the best games I've seen from Andrew Eddinghausen. His defence was superb.
Fantastic performance by the Sharks. They go into next Saturday's semi-final against Canberra, running out winners by 38 points to 14.